drums on records.
At the time, there was a lot of experimenting going on. The idea of having, two basses or two drummers or all of that was all very experimental.
The boys were making some money, but not enough to consider dropping out of college. Dean was majoring in advertising design at USC, while Jan was pre-med at crosstown rival UCLA. Dean still lived with his parents. Jan got a bachelor pad.
And we had a patio up on the penthouse, and we brought sand in and beach chairs so that we would have this outdoor Hawaiian feel. And we would write songs, and we were going to medical school at the time.
He'd stay for hours or something. This would be at night, late at night, and then he would be tired and he'd take his cat nap. And he had this way of being able to just put his head down for 5 or 10 minutes, go sound asleep, wake back up, and start completely brand new.
Jan and Dean had taken East Coast street music and given it a lighter West Coast flair. But Barry's introduction to another California native would soon take that sound even further.
I had met Brian Wilson after their first or second record, I think. And I put Jan and Brian together as writers. I think they liked each other and respected each other for, enjoyed what the other person was doing.
In 1962, Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys first reached the top 40 with Surfin' Safari. Just a year later, he had his first #1 hit not with the Beach Boys, but with a song he had written with Jan Barry.
Take a Four Freshman harmony, add a Chuck Berry kind of rhythm track, sing about lifestyles of California. You got a sound here,
We had no idea that by doing surf records that somebody in Kansas would drive around with a Woody even though they were 2,000 miles from an ocean.
What happened was it was a hit song about something that not everybody was familiar with, and that sort of led people into finding out about it. Between Brian and Jan, they developed this mystique about all these tan girls in bikinis and guys running around in convertibles, and the sun's out all the time and it never rains and the beaches are clean and everything's a good time all the time.
For a time, Jan and Dean got to live the life they sang about. Where Brian Wilson had a lifelong fear of swimming in the ocean, Jan and Dean were Beach Boys. They would discover it was all too good to be true.
Jan and Dean, followed by Brian Wilson, shows how BioChannel connects related lives to create compelling theme nights. Make your BioChannel connection. Call now.
In the mid-1960s, Jan and Dean personified a dream of perfect waves and eternal youth. But while Hollywood and the music industry were selling that dream to the rest of the country, California surfers weren't buying it.
Well, to be honest with you, here's the deal. As a surfer, and I still surf, as a surfer, the Beach Boy music was the Hollywood version of what the beach should be. The real music at the beach was still rhythm and blues.
And that's pretty much the surf sound, lots of eighth notes.
Though their album covers played up the California lifestyle, most of their records contained only a few tracks about surfing. No matter. Hollywood saw a gold mine and cast Jan and Dean in Surf Scene, a TV pilot that featured surfing footage along with the duo's own style of comedy.
Hey, Jan, who would go down to the beach on such a miserable day.
Well, you want to be a real surfer, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
Well, real surfers only go in the worst weather, because that's when the waves are the biggest.
But it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, real surfers only surf early in the morning because that's when they get the best waves.
But I got a cold.
Well, real surfers go no matter whether there's rain, snow, sleet, grimmies, hodads, rocks, barnacles, or crummy crustaceans.
Oh, really? I'll just watch.
For once, not everything Jan and Dean touched turned to gold. Surf Scene would have served as a half-hour ad for their music, but the pilot never aired after news broke of Dean's involvement in a high-profile crime.
The horrifying ordeal of Frank Sinatra Jr. began while he was filling an engagement at Lake Tahoe. He was having dinner before one of his shows when his abductors moved in. 3 men were arrested, including Barry Keenan, a 23-year-old unemployed salesman. Another suspect arrested was Joseph Amsler, also 23 years old.
Barry Keenan was Dean Torrance's best friend from Uni High and a fellow member of the Barons with Joseph Amsler. It was revealed at the trial that Dean had lent Keenan money, which Keenan later used to finance the kidnapping. Torrance testified that although his friend had told him of the plan, he didn't believe he would actually do it, and that he had given Keenan money because he was unemployed.
We went to the trial, and Dean and I were on an elevator, and when we came down and the doors opened, and all the reporters were there, and they started taking, and he turned to me, he said, "They're acting like this is some kind of a federal case or something," which was a kidnapping and obviously was a federal case. But to Dean, it was just, you know.
The kidnappers were sentenced to 24 years in prison. Dean Torrance never faced any criminal charges. His next hit with Jan would memorialize a highway death trap, but have their trademark carefree sound.
I was cruising in my Stingray late one night, and an XKE pulled up on the right.
Dead Man's Curve is Sunset, what used to be Sunset Boulevard, but isn't anymore because they straightened Dead Man's Curve out. It used to be an S curve there. And there were a lot of people killed on that curve.
Let's race all the way to Dead Man's Curve.
We finished mixing. It was very late at night, and he said, "Come on." We drove up to Hollywood Boulevard, where KFWB was, and Roger Christian literally said, "This is Jan and Dean's new hit record." Played it on the radio. Jan ran downstairs, and we sat in the car and listened to it to see what it would sound like on the radio. And we went back and remixed it after that.
You should have heard the whine from my screaming machine. I flew past the Braves, Mops, and Crescent Heights, and all the...
That's how painstaking he was about making sure the record sounded great on the radio.
But I pulled her out, and there we were at Dead Man's Curve.
I learned something from him. I learned to be ambitious from Jan. His spirit, he had a very strong spirit for recording music.
Jan ran the show in those days, probably hired Dean, I say probably because I don't, as a side man, or he really treated him like a second-class citizen.
He and Jan didn't get along that well. You know, there was a lot of resentment and power struggle, and not even that much struggle because Jan just had the power. So Dean would pretty much show up, do his thing, be a clown, sing, and leave.
We all knew going in that you either did it Jan's way or you didn't do it. And I was just happy with doing it.
Though Dean would often get frustrated at not having any input about music, he was instrumental in creating the goofball image the pair was famous for.
Dean was very, very funny. Dean would do a lot of strange little things on stage, and the kids would laugh.
They just both had that Laurel and Hardy type push, shove, knock down, you know, this was all fun to them, fun and games.
Jan's high school friend, Don Altfeld, would write their next hit. He found inspiration during a late-night drive down Pasadena's Colorado Boulevard, site of the annual Tournament of Roses parade.
It's the little old lady from Pasadena. The little old lady from...
And something hit me. There was an old, I had this vision of a little old lady driving a hot rod down the boulevard. So came up with the little old lady from Pasadena has a pretty little flower bed of white gardenias parked in her rickety old garage.
There's a brand new shiny red superstar car. And everybody's saying that there's nobody meaner than the little old lady from Pasadena. She's the terror of Colorado Boulevard.
Dean Torrance didn't sing for the recording of Little Old Lady from Pasadena. In fact, for their only #1 hit, Surf City, Beach Boy Brian Wilson accompanies Jan. Conversely, for the Beach Boys song, Barbara Ann, the famous falsetto belongs not to a Beach Boy, but to Dean Torrance. No one seemed to care who got credit.
I sang falsetto on Little Old Lady from Pasadena with Phil Sloan. So everybody chipped in. If Jan needed something, he got it any way he could with the people that he had.
Jan's bold attempt to create a rock sound with a symphony orchestra would be his first and biggest commercial failure. Misfortunes continued on the set of Easy Come, Easy Go.
The camera was on a flatbed, and what happened was that the camera car started going too fast and was catching up with what they were shooting, so that it eventually hit like that and threw the cameraman and everybody that was on it off the camera, and that's how he got hurt.
Hence, Jan broke his leg and was in the cast, and that was the end of the film.
Jan crawled to the roadside where a passing motorist drove him to the nearest hospital.
And the doctor that did his leg saved his leg. They were going to amputate that leg. Dr. Robert Grant. He was a teacher, one of Jan's teachers. He was the orthopedics teacher.
In February of 1966, while Jan was still recovering from the accident, he and Dean got a second shot at a television series.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Welcome aboard. Have an accident?
No, thank you. Just had one.
Is there anything I can do?
Well, you can sign my cast next to your phone number. Oh, and I'm going, wait here, I'm going to go break my arm.
Don't mind them, miss. They're just a couple of 44-year-old teenagers. Come, children. Be good and there'll be lollipops from Nanny.
And quite frankly, when we finished that pilot, the last night, and we were in Washington, D.C., they were having a wrap party. And we didn't even go, I don't think. We were up in our rooms kind of going, what if this thing sells? We were so sure it was so bad that nobody would ever buy this piece of junk.
ABC promptly picked up the series that was slated to premiere in the fall. The boys continued their recording careers with a comedy album, a send-up of the popular TV series Batman, which many considered to be a send-up already.
Holy Halloween, Jan! Look at this great costume. It's slick.
It's Captain Jan from now on, pal. You do deserve that name, Boy Blunder.
Jan and Dean's act appeared to be wearing thin, while Brian Wilson continued to reinvent his group's sound, earning the label of genius along the way. Jan and Dean seemed stuck in another world. Beach Boys who hadn't grown up.
Things were changing at that point, and other sounds were coming in. As I said, the Beatles had happened. There was a lot of group vocal stuff starting to happen, the Mamas and the Papas, Turtles. The complexity and the big full sound of a lot of that music began to sort of overcome what Jan and Dean had been.
From the classics to classic rock, Bio Channel profiles people whose sounds are music to our ears. We'll return to Surf's Up right after the song stylings of another man long on musical talent, Martin Short.
Let the sun shine.
By the spring of 1966, tens of thousands of American troops were stationed in South Vietnam. So far, Jan Berry had successfully avoided the draft.
I think it caught up with him. You know, the touring, the recording, and I think the straw that broke the camel's back is it was the draft board. They were trying to draft Jan, and he was trying his darndest to get out of it, and wasn't succeeding.
He talked about it a lot. You know, that he had to stay in medical school. You'd have to go to the military.
Due to his leg injury and the demands of his career, Jan Berry was no longer enrolled in medical school, making him vulnerable to the draft. But the golden boy who led a charmed existence had finally tempted fate one too many times. On the morning of April 12th, he was speeding through Beverly Hills just a mile from Dead Man's Curve.